Woo.
Okay. Yeah. This is where I like to play Oprah.
You look so much like her.
I know. I'm her long-lost sister. Yeah.
I know, I agree.
One thing I think that Courtney really hit upon that I really want to drive home to you guys is that transformation is 100% a process. And her story really focused on how when she would backslide, when she hit a plateau, when she didn't meet a goal that she had set for herself, how she perceived that as failure. And it's not failure. So often God puts the pause button on things. And I think it was Stella made this point. It was just such a good point. You know, when we hit those plateaus, it's not like we're failing or we're doing anything wrong. Sometimes that's just God's way of saying, hey, stop a second. Let's take a moment to assess what's going on here and everything you've accomplished. And we have a tendency to focus on those things where we're failing rather than the things that we've accomplished. And I think that Courtney's story just kind of shows that time and again is I was there and now I'm here and how'd I get here? But taking the time and just going, well, what happened? What's different now than what was different then? And how do I get back there? And what can I learn about that? Where did I get off track? That's an area where I always kind of focus on for myself is, wait a second, I gained 30 of the 54 pounds I lost. How did that happen? And for me, one of the things I've realized is my weight it correlates almost directly in how my relationship with God is going. When I'm doing really, really well, God and I are tight, we go on walks together, we skip down the street, I'm losing weight, I'm healthy. But when I'm starting to separate from him, that's when my weight starts to creep up. And so when I start gaining weight, it always makes me say, wait a second, what's going on here? Because I know that is that's kind of almost like a trigger for me. What is going on? And Courtney, I do have a few questions for you. You're talking about how to be he-focused. Do you have anything that you do, when you feel like you're being disconnected from God? What are some of the ways that you reconnect?
I think for me, one way is worship. So if that's listening to music or just being centered in a place of worship in my mind, that's one way. Community is another way. I am the type of person that if I'm going through something, I would rather push people away and just be in my own stuff. But the reality is community helps me a great deal. And so trying to push further into people around me who love me. Prayer, sometimes my prayers are I don't know what to say, Jesus help me. But that's something. It's in the moment, it's my moaning, it's my groaning, but it's something. It's a little piece of something that I feel like he will pick up on. And the other thing I think is just being very sensitive to the Holy Spirit and the guiding of the Holy Spirit.
And you were talking about pain, and I think you make a really powerful point that in pain you need a wound to heal. As you've been kind of going through this, have you been able to pinpoint a wound that has kind of ripped back open or a new wound?
Yeah, I think definitely it was the biggest one is the loss of my father, which, like I said, it'd be 4 years in May. And I think grief is kind of the process of grief is kind of like this transformation that I was talking about, is you think you reach this point where you're like, okay, I feel better. And then something happens and you feel like it happened yesterday. So for me, that wound ripped back open, just a few months ago, especially with the holidays. And when that happens, any little thing on top of that feels like the world is crashing down. So it could be a comment at work, somebody might say, and it feels like the world is ending because I already have this open, gaping wound, but it's because I didn't tend to it. And I feel like God is not saying to me that you will ever be free from pain, but that there is a peace within that pain that's possible if you allow yourself to be healed.
Does anybody have any questions or comments that you'd like to ask or share? Okay. we are going to send you off into your small groups. Courtney, would you like to go in there?
Yeah, sure. God, thank you so much for just this community of women that you've put here. Each of these women, each one of them, Lord, that you've placed here on purpose in this season. And so I just pray that you will speak to each of them in ways that they are yearning for, in ways that they don't maybe know that they're yearning for. I just pray that you will break down any walls that are keeping them from hearing from you, keeping them from being filled up completely by you. And I just pray most importantly, Lord, that they will just begin to feel like they are more than enough. I don't know all of the struggles in the room, but I just know that you are present in each of their lives, and that you want to press so deeply into their hearts and into their minds and erase all lies away from the enemy. So I just pray that you will meet them in their place on their journey of transformation, and that you will begin to reveal to them their true identity and who you really are in their lives. We thank you in your name we pray.
And for the gals who got here a little bit late, you missed it, but I know that you missed a bit of Courtney's presentation. We're videotaping it, so I'll try to get it spliced up and edited and up on YouTube, and I'll send you guys the links this week. All right? Awesome. Well, be free, little birds. I know. Oh, I think Courtney was like not. I didn't have.